Because the truth is that no job is guaranteed after school. So hopefully the skills you've learned can actually help you even after school.
Due to the economic situation of how the country is currently now, once you're thrown off guard financially, you're a bit or realistically, I was not in school. I had to start looking for who I'll go and pitch business idea to do website and everything. So I was like hustling outside of school. I feel like the structure of education as a whole has been altered. Yeah.
Has been altered.
Yes, to a certain level.
Exactly.
So as the world is moving, you move with it. Whatever is the trend. Now we're in the generation of AI.
Okay.
Good. We know that AI is taking a great percentage of people's job.
But that one is
Due to automation and everything. But now, not everybody knows how to use it.
Good day everyone again. Hello, it's still your favorite host Francis on the round conversation again. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. And on this episode, we'll have a very important discussion. We have something very, very important we need to discuss. In today's episode, we have someone very I've known for some time. I call him my friend. So don't worry, he will get to introduce himself better. The topic for this episode is books versus bills. What we really want to talk about today is how do students tend to manage, thrive their way through balancing both the academic life and equally footing their bills. So this is difficult. There are some students saying in this school they actually don't footing their bills.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, some of them equally tend to even care for their parents at home. So I feel like the pressure is too much on the students, and I think something is need to be done. But from your own perspective, I know you have experience, but not just seeing it for the first time. So I know you have experience based on this kind of thing. So I would really love to say, like, from your own experience, what can you really tell? What do you think that students out there should do to help them balance both schools and schools all at the same time? But before that, please do go to introduce yourself to us.
My name is Jimmy Alaba. Yeah, final year student for computer science and informatics. As to regarding your question, it boils down to preference or the type of person and the kind of environment or the kind of family the person has.
Okay.
Take for instance a child that has a family or a background that has financial stability will not have to bother much about
Finding money to
understand that pressure, that financial pressure compared to its academic pressure. There's no balance there. So most of the time you just have to focus on its academics. Any other thing, house they provide.
That's true, sir.
Or for many people we get sweet daddy.
The truth is that somebody told me that in this school that his weekly allowance is 120k. I was like, weekly allowance. There are some people that in 6 months I've not seen that money, and you are seeing it in a week.
Allowance of 5k.
But
So it boils down to the type of family, like I said, preference. Now for those that are fending for themselves, balancing academics and bills is not really everything. I'm not really like, from a lot of things I've seen, it's a very difficult thing because one moment school is telling you to pay for this or to buy this or to do this. You yourself and you're thinking how you're going to fund that particular bill. So while you're on the road, probably plotting for how you want to fund that one, either there's test. So person like me now, once upon a time, breeze in, breeze out. So sometimes it makes students look like they're not serious.
That's true.
That kind of thing. Like it's not attending classes. Yeah, there are some students that are on serious. There's an average of those ones, but most of the students that I know that fend for themselves tend to miss classes, but not like they're not serious, because they're the ones surviving.
That's true.
They have no background, nobody is financially supporting them, nobody is giving them. So if they don't move or do certain things, they'll be left behind on everything, including the academics themselves.
Okay, a quick question.
Yeah.
What does books versus bills mean to you personally as a person, as an individual?
Time.
Okay.
I see it as how to make the most with the amount of time you have.
Okay.
So it's like probably 2-3 hours I'm supposed to dedicate it to revising what I've learned during the day, refresh my memories, plan ahead for the next class, read for possibility of tests and everything. Those same 2-3 hours I can have a side for those that have skills and everything.
Yeah.
That same amount of time can be put into productivity.
To actually bring out something out
So
of
it has to do with time, the amount of time you spend on a particular thing, and then knowing how to manage and balance the two
It's
properties.
actually very difficult to actually balance these two things together, because if you come to the real sense of it, how do you, okay, just like you said earlier, you
Yeah.
have tests,
Okay.
and at the same time you've not even eaten, you don't have money, and in some cases you actually need transport to take you from your house to the school to go and get that test. How do you even get to survive in that kind of situation?
Priority is one thing. Yeah. Another thing is planning.
Planning, that's true.
The way the skill of preference, which is more important. Your academic, that test you want to write, or the reason behind why you don't want to write the test. Which
So
one is more
no
important?
congo, no right test now. Until they try to
No. I'm saying that if you have to write, the reason why you're in school in the first place, the reason why you're fronting these bills, these school bills, is because of school itself. What's the point of you paying for school fees if you're going to miss test or exam?
That's
So
actually
priority
another
and planning.
dimension.
So
That's
if you know you have tests probably on a Wednesday, on a Saturday of the previous week, you need to plot. If it means going to sleep over at a friend's place that's closer to school compared to your
so it will be easier for me
domain,
to tread down.
to walk down. Not use the word trade. Trade is
Okay.
for suffering.
Anyway, Jay-Z, I don't want to talk with Jay-Z. It's okay.
So to walk down and all this kind of thing. When it comes to most academic pressure, I don't think food is for health benefits. But when it comes to academic pressures, I don't think food should be a problem or a major problem unless you have health challenges or health issues. So if, for example, you get only 1,000 for pocket, let's assume you have only 1,000 in your pocket, and that food, that 1,000 suppose food your afternoon food or evening food, because most of us they drop money food.
Be lying.
Who they drop money for?
In
They
all
chop
honesty,
afternoon.
I know the most people have money. food.
So that 1,000 is between your afternoon or evening food and transport priority, which is more important. So you can decide to, okay, I'll use this 1,000 for pay transport. Hopefully, gracefully, I feature for my guy's side.
You see, that's actually a lot of pressure there. I believe that a lot of students will be watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Understand? Okay, now talking about pressure, talking about the past generation and this our present generation, which of these generations do you think face more financial pressure as a student? Actually,
I feel it's this generation.
this generation feels more pressure, financial
Yes,
pressure as a student.
due to the economic situation.
Okay.
Back then, if we use our parents, though I'm not experienced enough to talk about them, but from my own perspective, if we were to consider our parents' times, transport was not that expensive.
They had bicycles. They could trek.
Now you can't buy it, but how much is a bicycle? Exactly my point.
There's some bicycle tutorials, 70,000
Exactly my
there.
point. So the economic situation then was not as aggressive as it is now. Then you could work one job and feed your family. There are times where your uncle, if there's issue between your uncle and your father, you're not here, I can feed you and your family.
That guy's still they don't even can again for this generation.
That kind of thing. So then you could work one job and feed the family. Now it's bare minimum. You have to work extra. You have to do the extra mile if you want to actually sustain yourself. Otherwise, you end up living in debt.
This thing you just said now, I've been dying to ask someone this question. Okay. The truth is that personal, okay, let me not use personal, naturally, are you supposed to work as a student? Like, forget about the system, forget about Nigeria and how the educational system is being structured. Like, naturally, are you supposed to work as a student while still in school?
I won't use the word naturally. I'll still speak on preference. Personally, I believe. Why? Because school is a place to learn a whole lot of things. Because you're in the outside world, you're in the real world, not partially under the supervision of the parents. So you get to meet people of different towns, villages, communities, different upbringing and everything, different opportunities, different conversations, different mindset, everything. So you're on a new dimension of reality. Yeah. So personally, I feel that's like a great start for people to actually know what or how the working experiences of the outside world is. So probably if you can do a side job or a side hustle, okay, this is how the salary cap of certain work, this is the kind of experience you get, that kind of thing. So let it not be that 4 years after your school, that's when you're not having experience that you would have had 4 years ago.
Practically speaking, do you know that if you are schooling
Okay.
and still working, whether you like it or not, directly or indirectly affects your academics.
Yes, everything you do as a being, yeah, that affects your mind will affect your academics. If you spend more time watching movies than reading, it affects negatively. If you spend more time reading than watching content and everything, you understand. If you spend more time doing jobs or side hustle or whatever, you burn more hours into production and development than academic development. So every move you make is
Me
going to affect-
personally, actually, apart from personal skills,
yeah.
me personally, I think it's practically impossible to be working and still be schooling. Let me make up my point. Okay, for example, now I do have lectures from 8 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. in the morning.
Every day.
Most times, not every day.
Okay.
Like most days of the week, at least 3 to 4 days of the week. Okay, no, 5 days for lectures.
Okay.
So let's say 3 in a week.
Okay.
Now, imagine I go to school, I mean to say from 8 to 6 in the evening. I come back by 6 something. And like that for 3 days. And maybe the remaining 2 days inside that week, I kind of maybe lecture start by 10 or 12. If you employ me, maybe you own a gas station and you employ me to work for you, you won't take those excuses because it's none of your business
So
actually.
now that's where the type of job you're doing, the type of side hustle you're doing matters a lot. And that's the reason why most of the time we are advised to have a skill. If you have a skill, you're somewhat the boss of yourself.
Somebody that just finished writing WAEC got admission into the university. Which opportunity does he have to actually go and learn any skill?
Why you're waiting for admission?
How long does it take for you to wait for admission?
How long if it's supposed to be a girl or a guy? Let's use a girl for example.
Okay.
How long does it take you to learn how to weave hair?
I don't know. I'm not in that field, but
If you're a guy,
practically it takes
how
3
long-
to 4, 5,
how-
6 months.
How long does it take for you to get admission after jam?
Like WAEC, the right WAEC around May, June.
Good. Let's assume you write jam in February. You write WAEC in probably March, April.
Okay.
You have May, June, July, August. September is usually when admission between September and October.
Oh,
Some
between
schools,
sessions.
is when schools usually open that window for admission. So you have between April ending till September to learn whatever you want to learn. Personally, that's enough time. It might not be more than enough, but it's enough time to at least grasp on something.
But you know that with that length of time, learning a skill with that particular period of time,
Yeah.
if you were to hire me with such experience of 3-4 months.
But if you're talking about hiring now, it's you tending to work under somebody. I am talking about the type of skill where you can use your skill to fend for yourself.
Okay, let's assume maybe you want to cut your hair.
Okay.
Because this is my own practical experience, personal opinion, I need to say. I went to a barber shop. I saw someone. He's just been there just like a month.
Okay.
And he was like, "Come, let me barber." I said, "No, sorry, no offenses, but I can't just let you cut my hair. You've not cut my hair before, and besides, I think you're new here." And now, I'm not being biased. Maybe he has been in the job for like a month or 2, but I don't trust him enough to give me a good haircut.
Well, that one is a secondary extension of societal devaluing. That's a different thing entirely because you want to start entering that point now, start looking at reasons why. But if let's assume he uses 4 or 5 months to learn value,
Okay.
and he's very good at it, probably you've seen your course mate or people you know that has been caught by him. You would definitely allow him.
Yes, now, but
But he learned it under 5 months.
at least I don't see. I prefer someone I know who has been
Now
in the
you
role.
prefer experiences over. I get your
Yes.
point. But that one is a secondary problem. It becomes okay. Let's not use barbing for example.
Okay.
Think for instance you. What would I use? You sell products. Probably you sell clothes. You own this mini vendor like business where you sell clothes or you sell dress wares. Yeah. You would think experience will really matter, provided you've known the ins and out of how the business is work within that 5 months. Probably you had a 5-month or a 4-month class on how these businesses go about.
That one is a business, not a skill. This one just has to do with buying and selling and collecting money. This one has to do with your professionalism. You know how your visual,
Okay.
mental attitude. You know how you visualize things and how you can actually bring out something good out of that thing. But business is just I don't need to have any specific skills. So if I know how to count money, I can just give you this collect money. It's
Okay. Point understood.
much more easier.
Point understood. So And what other example will I use now? Um, I don't know. There's not really much skills for guys. Most of the skills are for ladies. Not really much because
Makeup
who does
artists,
makeup, pedicure, hairdressing,
nail techs.
birthday surprise. There's more job opportunities for ladies.
As a guy, because I believe a lot of students will be watching this. From what you've said so far, I think you believe that personally, from your own opinion, students should have side hustles.
Yes.
Okay. So
As
now,
a matter of fact, as you're writing work, you should have envisioned a particular skill you want to learn or you want to further on.
so when do you learn how to program?
We were back in secondary school. We were hotcakes. I know the program
As a
is
programmer.
SS1 then because we had this in how would I put it? We had this competition among ourselves
Okay.
as fellow or upcoming programming students. So we had this task or competition, this healthy competition of wanting to know more, wanting to learn more, wanting to practice more because we wanted to prove that we were the best among ourselves. That kind of thing. There's this then in secondary school there's this accolade when you are able to actually attack a teacher.
Attack a teacher.
Let me explain. Like, if teacher is asking you a question, you're answering.
Okay.
You answer every single question he asks. You have an answer to it, and then probably you start defining and explaining more, and they probably have questions. It's not every student have questions to ask teachers after their answers.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So it was that space where we were like, Nigerian people say it's bass boost. We are collecting and giving, that kind of thing. So where we were confused, we asked where they had questions for us to ask, and so who had the most correct answers or who is always most frequently in answering questions had that accolade as this guy's a book, that kind of thing. So we grew up with that attitude of towards programming. We grew up with that attitude of wanting to know more. As we were growing progressively, it became a side hustle for us. We started doing landing pages.
Okay, then it was landing page, not.
Yes, and it took time to get to where we are now.
Yes.
I'm not like to anybody. You cannot develop a dynamic page from scratch all of a sudden. And it is a gradual process. And the more you go, the more you learn, the more you see.
And then
things
I was around for that. Oh.
You have to code from scratch.
Yes.
And command will put you inside. So maybe will put you inside problems.
You see, yes, I remember when I was learning actually how to program.
Yeah.
I was using Notepad.
Yeah.
Understand? So I felt like every single mistake I did, I found it very difficult to actually locate that mistake. Unlike people that use Visual Code, immediately you tell them
Visual
this is
Studio
the
and everything.
everything.
Yeah. So that was like so. Leaving secondary school now, we're doing landing pages for minor businesses, contact pages. Before WhatsApp business became a popular thing, we had this landing page. You have to go to the website, you go and copy number, and click button that will refer you to your dialer for you to dial numbers. Those was like a side hustle for us before we started doing full commercial pages for full commercial websites for small scale businesses, and then it was a side hustle for us then, even before coming to school.
That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. Okay, but let's talk about this realistically.
Yeah.
Do you feel like making money while in school is a distraction for students?
Yes. To a certain level, yes. I'll use myself for example. There was a time where I think 200 level, there was this financial pressure on me. You know, I have myself and my sister in school.
Okay.
Got admission at the same time, my younger sister. So there was this space where the house was somehow financially, and they were like, I have to find somebody to squat with, you understand, and everything, that the pressure of paying two school fees, and then my sister's house rent
and everything.
you understand. Me as guy now, I have to start understanding. So there was that point where I have to really find this money for myself, otherwise I'm going to fall flat, very flat.
There were higher chances of you dropping out if you did actually do
Not
something.
really higher chances because I already had paid school fees,
Okay.
but fee is going to be a problem for me.
Surviving day to day.
Transport, miscellaneous, school, manual, pay for this, that, the permit due, kiniko, and then my house rent was close to expiring, so it was like everything is on my neck.
Coming all down on you all at once.
How do I cope? Well, I literally have to leave school. Any other thing, I'm not even
Like
like
you left school completely.
as a whole. We did some illegal things, sha. My name is on every attendance list. Online because they had people writing attendance for me. And
Sure,
stuff.
it's another thing.
But realistically, I was not in school. I had to start looking for who I'll go and pitch business idea to do website and everything. So I was like hustling outside of school. Got too kind. I mean, gathered some kind funds and everything, but I missed out on some classes and I missed out on some tests.
Sure.
Yeah, but
That one is sure.
I had to now read extra hard for those marks that I missed in tests and everything. I had to make sure that I recruit them inside exam hall and everything. So yes, it's more or less a distraction to a certain point because once you, due to the economic situation of how the country is currently now, once you're thrown off guard financially, you're a bit or you are demoralized to a certain level. You are scattered.
Right. But how do we do it? The truth is that realistically, if I'm to say, the truth, the economy has made things awkward. We don't have more opportunities, and we don't actually have more say to the situation.
Okay.
But I really feel that students shouldn't work while in school. You can learn a skill. Maybe you have maybe something, a side gig you're learning, maybe a side skill, maybe something you're learning on YouTube or Udemy or anything that doesn't really take much of your time. But talking about hustling, like you're really hustling while in school, I really think that it's not supposed to be a thing.
Then you leave students with one of two options.
Which is
Either you drop and go and find job, so how you keep up your safety, probably you save enough to come back to school,
okay.
or you be in school hoping a miracle will happen.
For man, no too so because a lot of people talk about miracle.
Yeah.
I actually one of these days we'll talk about religion on this
Okay.
one of these episodes
Okay.
to really talk about religion.
Okay.
But I have my takes on miracle, but I'll keep it to myself till then.
Okay.
But talking about miracles happening, do you really believe that miracles happen?
Yeah, miracles happen to a certain point, but miracles happen to those who believe and those who work, because faith without work is dead.
Yeah.
And so those who believe, and you usually no fit just dey for house or you dey wherever you dey, sit down listen to music, hoping say one uncle will just call you one random morning and should give you 500,000. It's not going to
But
happen.
it's Nigeria.
It's not going to happen. If you had tried that thing 30 years ago, I would have agreed, but it's not going to happen. So unless you start knowing how to move or plot your ways or start planning towards yourself, my dear, sorry.
From what you said so far, it seems you really have a lot of experience about books and bills, how you actually tend to balance this thing. And I have one triggering question.
Okay.
I know that this conversation we're having sometimes it might take you a little bit closer to home.
Yeah.
Begin to bring up a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Now the question is, if let me put it this way. Have you ever missed a test? I don't want to use lecture because lecture will sound too common.
Yeah.
Have you ever missed a test because of a hustle before?
Yes.
Like, is it that you intentionally picked the hustle over the test?
It's either probably I was too broke to come to school. Like probably I could not afford transport from wherever I was to enter school, or we had tests and I was in the middle of work.
I thought tests they do give are tests still impromptu? I know that some
Yeah,
lecturers
some
still
not
give
not not
impromptu
really
tests.
not. I will not say yes and I will not say no, because some lecturers are different. You know, they are different people with different perspectives and different ideologies. So there are sometimes we had impromptu tests. There are sometimes we had planned tests.
Okay.
Probably after a class, a lecturer will tell you that next week you're having tests, read and
Yes.
prepare. And now go to, or for example, where let's assume I have test next week Thursday. I'm planning for Thursday's test, but the guys leave in my pocket right now. They look my OPC say,
Things not too day like that, not too guide.
Now I probably just was reading for test, and probably on a Wednesday I was called. That's why if you come in Egua or if you come Delta, we get a job of like 50K for you. Man, we hunger the catch.
Are you intentionally forbid test for
Man, we hunger the catch.
But you see, that's what I'm saying, that you're not really supposed to be working while still in school. It's really a big distraction. Many people are not even saying about this.
Yes, but there's a way you can, like I said, there's a way you can manage it. For there are times where you miss tests, yeah, but you cannot miss every test.
That's true. You can't miss every test.
So let's assume you miss 3 tests from 3 courses and you're doing 8 courses. you have 5 courses you can actually confidently make up for. Write the test and write the exam. Now for those 3 courses where you've missed the test, you have to be extra serious about them. You have to
In
make
the
out
exams.
serious times. You have to read more than, because for every point you miss in your continuous assessment, you are slacking, you are way behind. So you have to
Slacking?
make sure you record them inside the exam hall. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I think I get your points now. But just like I said earlier, in my own, if I'm to pick actually, I feel like the economy has destroyed a lot of things. And Nigeria as a country, I don't want to talk about Nigeria and their problem.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But I feel like that shouldn't work. In overseas, I think there are some students who still do side hustles even while going to school.
Yes.
But their side hustle is flexible. It's not like the way we are in Africa, Nigeria to be precise. Their side hustle is very, very flexible, not like the way we do it over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The next question I wanted to ask you is a controversial question. Why I said it's a controversial question is
Because you won't set me up. Because you won't set me up.
Not really. The reason is because I've been to some conversations and I've
Okay.
heard people say this a lot.
Okay.
Understand? Do you really think that school? I don't want to use the word education because schooling and education are two different things.
Yes.
Do you really think that school prepare you for financial independence?
Yes and no. In the sense, what school does is, like I'll make mention of, you meet new people with different ideology, and it gives you like a free, like a trial version of what the real world outside your parents' house looks like. That's what school is. It's like you're on free plan, seeing what the labor market is like.
Yes.
So it opens your mind to, okay, I'm not going to be in my parents' house forever. Because there are times when you call your father, you call your mother, you ask them for 5K or 6K, they'll tell you, I sent you money 2 weeks ago, I don't have money. This is not what they will tell you if you're in secondary school.
That's true.
You understand? So it opens your mind to independence. Yeah? Not just financially, but yes, finance plays a major factor in schooling. So it opens your mind to finance to a certain aspect. But I would say it opens your mind as a whole to independence, in the sense that you have to start fending for yourself to a certain level on every aspect. You have to start looking out for yourself health-wise, academic-wise. Because in secondary school, I know some students where if they feel one kind, their teacher will come, their parents will come meet teacher.
Secondary school.
It does not happen in you.
No.
You understand? So
Your father even know where he
you
is.
know that
Your
your father is not coming to
save
save you. Your father is not bribing anybody. You have to stand up for yourself. So it builds that level of independence to a certain point, not just finance, but on every surface.
So, if I'm trying to go where you're trying to say straight, you're trying to say that school indirectly prepares you for financial independence.
Yes.
But all those things does not make up success in your life. The fact that you are bold, you are courageous, you're confident, you can network, they are not equal to wealth, success.
Yes, but they are tools used by successful people.
And you
And
can,
what's
still have the tools and still not know how to use
yes,
it.
but what's better example you can collect from a successful man to follow a successful man's step. So if a successful man has a lot of network, you have to learn to network.
Okay.
Even if networking does not make you him or her, you have to learn how to network.
So are you of the opinion that students should be able to network with their fellow students in school?
Yes, because that's the main purpose of higher institution in the first place. You meet people from different
Wait,
backgrounds.
you said that's the what?
Like one of the purposes for higher institution.
Networking.
Yes. You have to meet take for instance, you stayed all your life in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Everybody you know are literally, or almost everybody you know, are within your neighborhood or within your community or within your state. How would you know what it's like to live in Zamfara?
I wouldn't.
Exactly. But in uni now, you have people from
Different
Osun,
tribes,
Ogun,
different
Kogi,
states,
you understand? So you get to meet people on different levels, on different tiers of life, networking. So if peradventure all of you graduate, you're back in Port Harcourt, you have somebody in Osun. So if you go to Osun or you go to Ogun or you go to Oyo,
You have a place
you
to lay your
you
head.
have somebody you can call and say, okay, networking.
if I get what you're trying to say, just like I said, it's a controversial question. A lot of people have said that schooling doesn't guarantee success.
Yes, nothing really guarantees
Sorry,
success.
he said not doesn't. He said school don't. You know what you mean? Sometimes if you use the word doesn't, it's a kind of a maybe or maybe. He said don't guarantee success because they tend to bring up images of people who, without no scholastic background, had done big things.
But there are also people that are with scholar backgrounds that are doing things as well.
Yeah, that's true. And there are a lot of people who have equally gone to school and yet there's nothing to write home about.
And there are people that have gone to school, or there are people that have not gone to school and still don't have anything to write about.
Now you're trying to banter the question.
That's it. There's nothing. School doesn't really guarantee you anything, but it's a guide.
So if it doesn't guarantee you anything, why are we here?
Like I said, it's a guide. It's a tool. It's the things you can collect from a successful man is the steps to his success, the things he does or the things he has been doing. Even if it doesn't make you a successful person, it's what he used. So you that is trying to be a successful person have to learn that. Probably your own path may be different, but you have to have that as your building blocks to becoming a successful person. So even if school does not make you wealthy or does not put you in the place of power or authority, it gives you the tools or the leverages to a certain extent you need to become that kind of person. But there's no guarantee.
Do you know that I'm of the opinion that I have this personal belief that no matter what you do, try as much as possible to go to school.
Yeah.
Because there are some level of exposure
Yes.
you would never get until you attend a higher institution.
Yes.
That could be true. But I ask myself the same question. Of what use just like you said, there are a lot of people who have gone to school and come out and today they are successful, they are making big names for themselves. Now, and in a scale of 1 to 10, as Nigeria to be concerned, the numbers are drastically reducing.
Okay.
How many universities? We have over up to hundreds of universities, thousands of graduates every single year, no stable job, no. I know you would want to say that the main source of going to school is not getting a job, it's about you creating something. That's true. But the school itself, the government itself, financing these institutions should be able to at least do the bare minimum, giving out institutions or building out structures where people who are not, it's like everybody are not on the same mental level.
Yes.
So that those who can't match up, who are not creative enough to be able to build or create something, can have something to fall on, at least for the fact that they pass through an institutional system.
Okay. Yes, I agree to your point. But I feel like the structure of education as a whole has been altered. Yeah.
Has been altered.
Yes, to a certain level. Why? Because we have different levels of learning. We have university that's a popular one. We also have polytechnic.
Yes.
And polytechnic back then was more of a practical school than a
Yes.
theory school. You have to read your books.
Theory,
But
like just theory.
Poly was, for example, if you're studying mechanical engineering, you could do practical tire
That's true.
back then. So
That's true.
I feel like the structure has changed or it has been altered along the line. I don't know what exactly happened, but let's take for instance, it is the way it was, or how it's supposed to be, where we had different type of schools for different type of things. You cannot read 3 pages. Enroll yourself for a practical school. Learn the basics. At least you know that if you hold spanner size 12 and put it in this bolt size 12 and you turn it will turn. You don't have to come and define what is the compound you use in making iron, you use to make screwdriver and all those kind of things.
Do you know that if you want to talk about practical, I think a lot of government schools have failed because they are not. I'm a student.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't want to be controversial, like biased.
Yeah.
In most Nigerian universities,
Okay.
the equipment or the tools they have in their laboratory or whatever it is not. They are all substandards. I know of a school that they have a computer lab, that their servers is bad, their network is bad, even down to their CPU.
So
is bad.
what really happens in those type of schools are lack of maintenance.
Lack of maintenance. whose fault exactly? If I'm paying money to, I'm paying money for this. If I'm paying money to come to a school to learn something, learn into a particular degree, so that I'll be able to be certified, at least get myself skilled to some certain level to face the real world. And I come into the school system, I pay for these things, and I don't get those things in return. Now, how are they actually, making me face the real world after the whole drama?
Should I be very, very biased in telling you this?
No, I actually want to read because I think a lot of people will be watching this because I don't know. It's annoying for me.
No, definitely it's annoying, especially when there's an economic deficit, where there's not really much money in hand that you're spending and spending and spending, and not really having anything.
Like,
it's annoying. I understand. Yeah, but it's not like I'm supporting the system. I'm not supporting the system.
Okay.
Personally, I feel like most of the time these are obstacles that we have to go through sometimes to become better people. Because there's this popular saying that strong men give birth to weak children that become weak men, that give birth to strong children that become strong men, and the circle continues. So if there's everything at our disposal, I feel to a certain point, there's not going to be that survival instinct.
I think we have a lot of in Nigeria, to be precise, we all have survival instinct. With the current situation, I think everybody's always thinking on how to survive.
But if I should speak for myself, using this predicament. Now take for instance, in computer science, we're having programming classes, programming courses. We are writing codes on a piece of paper.
The truth is that there was one practical we did. I was like, what kind of code are we writing at this particular level? I personally wanted to snap the code and post it.
My only question I would ask the lecturers in computer science is, how do you debug the codes I'm writing? Because you will feel me for saying the code is wrong. How do you know that the code is wrong? Yeah. But then again, why I said it's a challenge that actually builds us doing survival and everything. Now I know that this school does not have computer, does not have enough facility, or does not have the ability to give me what I want as a person.
Okay.
I start making personal research. Although not everybody has the ability to have laptops. You understand? But
buy data constantly to watch YouTube videos and learn.
I understand. So yes, if in that aspect it's a problem, but then again, it's more like an obstacle. It's a great obstacle, although it has more disadvantage than advantage. But me, I like the way both the good and the bad. Yeah, I know that it limits us, saying okay, because this school cannot offer this thing, or this school doesn't have the ability to maintain or give us this particular thing, what we need to progress. It's a big setback for us. It's a big obstacle for us. But we as individuals we now have to look for ways or modalities around it. Which brings me to the point of saying school doesn't. When you go to school, school has to go through you.
Okay, school has to go through it.
It now brings that thoughts. You now have to learn the skill of alternative, looking for a way around things. So yes, it's a problem, but it has its own effect, cause and effect.
Okay. I'll quickly drop this question before you leave. Okay. I thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time. The truth is that the student community, I feel like there's a loop in the student community. Okay. Coming back to what you said earlier, going to most of these schools who are intentional about grooming their students, most especially private institutions, do you notice at least to some 90% of their students don't get to do side hustles? Even if they do side hustles, it's mostly a digital kind of thing that is flexible for them, that they don't have to be there physically to do the
So you're saying they are learning from home?
You mean, no, not they are learning from home. They are in the school, they are in the university.
Okay.
Like, let's say for example, universities like Covenant University and the rest of them, you know them. Now, those kind of universities, are you telling me that a student in that kind of university would be schooling and still be doing side hustle?
Okay. Let's look at the factor behind the school itself.
Okay.
That's why I said it boils down to preference and family background and everything. Those schools are not affordable per se. They are slightly expensive.
Yes, that's true.
Now, if you can afford those kind of tuition fees, if you have parents that can afford those kind of tuition fees, you think those students who want to actually go through side hustle. Remember in the beginning I said, who daddy and mommy they sponsor don't really need side hustle because he gets his daddy when he call. According to you, you want weekly allowance na 100K.
And you said something. Sorry for cutting you short.
Yeah.
You said something earlier. You said that strong men make weak people,
Yes.
create weak people.
That grow
Now,
up to be strong.
that grow up to
be weak people, weak men that give birth to strong
to
people.
strong people
Yes.
again. Now, in that circle of institution, are you trying to say that their parents make them to be weak?
Yes, because you lack, to a certain point, you lack the sense of independence.
So you're trying to say that everything is being taught out for them.
If not everything, almost everything. You that your daddy is sending 50K, 100K, you will not be as consistent or struggling to survive for somebody where mama they send 5K and he get like 20K bill to pay for school.
I would never really talk about this 5K. But some people know they see money.
I'm just giving you like the difference between both parties, yeah. So that sense of survival or want to have something doing to have that money income will not be much of a problem because you get who 100 naira MTN credit if you solve.
Hey God. So like this now, what do you think students should do? Because it's alarming. I know someone, you understand?
It boils down, like I've been taught, it boils down to preferences. If your parents can keep up with those financial basketballs,
Let me small guys.
the parents can keep up with those things.
Person post something, he say you get the way school will take be even the person where they try help you will say they scammer.
Actually, bro,
Will say they scammer.
bro, it's scary. Yeah, but my advice to those that have families that are financially buoyant, try as much as you can to learn how to be independent. Because there's a level of comfortability. That's where strong men and weak men comes in. There's a level of comfortability. You not have that survival skill. You don't know how to maneuver. You don't know how to find alternatives to things. Because you always believe that somebody will come through for
There's
you.
always someone that they can call to rescue you.
There's this thing my father used to always say when I was small. He said, above all things, have these four. At least one of these four. Have power. If you don't have power, have connection. If you don't have power, you don't have connection, have money. If you don't have these three, have sense.
Word.
Have sense. So if your parents are financially buoyant and you're living that comfortable life, learn how to be independent because it's not like I'm wishing bad for people, but there might be a situation where those things will not be. how they
Actually,
used to
I
be.
can relate to this particular thing you're
understand?
saying right now.
Then for those that does not have, they've already advised themselves. They know what to do. They know how to keep up and everything because most of them. And for those that have not learned, go and learn a skill. At least one. You can have multiple jobs. You can be a painter. You can. See, it's not even having ideologies of skills that guys have.
That's true.
Painters,
Barbers.
lots of them. Learn at least a skill that you can use because if you're in school, let's take for instance you're a painter. If you're in school, people are graduating, people are moving out. Same way people are getting admission, people are moving in. People want to repaint their house, retouch their house, and everything. You can do those minor services.
You know, I really want to see something right now, but I think it's going to sound controversial.
Okay.
Let's talk about these skills you're talking about. I understand the fact that it's a side hustle.
Yeah.
You get it. But are you also of the opinion that in the next few years they will be drastically outdated? They'll be replaced with things that will take them out of the system.
The world moves and they should move with it.
Okay, now, if, for example, now you are studying, somebody's studying geology. Well, how would you study geology in Nigeria? What's your problem? Okay, let me restructure my question. Okay, let's say a barber, for example. I know some people who have graduated from the university. They've tried to get a job and they're unable to get one. And probably the skill they had was barbing, and that's what they are doing now. And in the nearest future, you get scaled out because of new things are coming up. Your skill is outdated.
So would you want to remain how you are 5 years ago?
No, nobody actually wants to remain
Exactly.
the
So
same.
as the world is moving, you move with it. Whatever is the trend, whatever is the now we're in the generation of AI.
Okay.
So we know that AI is taking a great percentage of people's job
Sure, that one is
due to
true.
automation and everything. But now, not everybody knows how to use AI properly.
Really?
Yes. Not every.
Like
Take for instance, prompting. Not everybody knows how to prompt.
Prompting. That I know that not everybody knows how to
Prompting is a code of its own.
That's true.
You don't know how to prompt. That's a skill. you can now sell classes, or you can start doing the work for them that don't know how to prompt. Tell them to pass the work to you, and you handle it for them. Side hustle, you've done it. You are moving with the trend.
No, today is a wonderful conversation, and I would love us to wrap it with one or few questions.
Okay.
Now, one of the last questions I'm going to ask is that a lot of students are watching this.
Okay.
This episode, particularly, or this podcast, one conversation, is mainly for the student community.
Yeah.
You can understand, to educate us, to put us in line, and for us to grow. Now, what kind of side hustles specifically do you think that students should engage while still in school that would be profitable for them, not just in school but even after school? They can still use these skills to still make money, because the truth is that no job is guaranteed after school. So hopefully the skills you've learned can actually help you even after school. So what kind of skills do you think that
I wouldn't pinpoint the types of skill. So it's like me telling them, if you can go and babble, or go and find painting job to do. What I would say is, whatever you know you're good at, find a way to monetize it. Take for instance, now I'm a programmer, good and fine, I make websites. But let's assume I don't make websites. What's another thing I can do? I'm a producer.
I know you're an artist, a very good one at that.
I'm a producer.
Jimmy Trek.
I can make beats for people. I sell beats. I mix and master. That's another hustle on my own.
Even as a musician, even as an artist, you still mix beats.
That's another side hustle.
So
it boils down to the kind of skills and talents you have as a person. So I'll not tell you that since that there's no job opportunity now, I don't know.
But do you know that talking about AI, you just said that as a developer, as a programmer, I mean to say, your job AI has made your job actually very, very easy. Especially those who know how to use it.
But now I'm working with AI, but I'm working with the trend. The world is moving, move with it.
No, what I'm trying to say, for example, now maybe let's say I don't know how to build a website.
Good.
And currently, with the current knowledge of AI I have, I don't actually need to actually go and meet a programmer to help me build a website.
True. But it depends on the kind of website. AI cannot help in everything. That's why I said AI is removing a good number of people's job, not everybody's job.
That's true. But from what I've heard, the only jobs that will not be moved by AI are all those tedious, those jobs that cannot be.
Even the jobs that AI are going to replace, they're not going to replace every aspect of it. Take for instance, if there's a certified and trained model of AI that will give me, all I have to do is give it my diagnosis or whatever I'm feeling, and then it tells me the kind of sickness I have and the possible drug I can take. I'll not need a doctor.
You don't need a doctor.
But that does not mean the AI is giving me that thing, doctor are not relevant. If I enter serious problem now, who's going to actually check my blood pressure?
That makes sense.
I will still need a health personnel, despite the fact that AI is going to take a certain level of.
Do you know this thing just said now took me to somewhere? Okay, now we are now in the world of AI.
Yeah.
Now, with the serious problem of lack of tools, lack of equipment in the medical department.
Okay.
And now most of the students don't even have access to good equipment to actually do the practical of being a nurse or med lab student or whatever they are doing. Now, how do you expect them to actually know what they are doing when they are out of their 5, 6, 7 years courses? There are universities that don't have good tools, even in those level of departments. Now, what are we actually expecting? What are we expecting from them?
I cannot say because that's like I say. But if I was to be a healthcare personnel,
okay,
and my school did not happen to give me the best services, yet do I pay for them. Of my free time, I could go to health centers and go and learn one or two.
Which free time? Is it when you're out of school? Because the only free time you're talking about
but then that one is actually furthering your knowledge based on what school have taught you. It doesn't really serve as a side hustle.
Yes.
Unless you want to start serving as an assistant to a doctor, a pharmacist, or understand. Which I don't know. I cannot really speak much on the health sector because I don't know how their space is like. So, but in general, what I will tell students is, if your family don't really get, find side hustle get. Find side hustle.
All right, we're actually approaching the final phase of this episode.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a very rapid, fast question and answer.
Okay.
And I have some here with me actually.
Okay.
Now, The first one is think carefully before you answer. Actually,
You want to say that? I thought I said one second.
no, not really.
Well, continue.
Because students are listening. They're actually watching.
Okay.
Okay. Good grades or valuable skills.
Rough one. But I'll say valuable skills.
Valuable skills.
Yes.
So are you trying to tell us that students should forget about grades and just focus on getting these skills?
It's important to have your. If you have a good skill, and you have valuable good grades as well, and collabo. You understand? But though we live in a society where your certificate, people tend to look at your certificate and your qualifications more than your experiences. But I feel in the next couple of years we're going to transition to a generation or a society where what you can do is more important than what is written on paper. That kind of thing. So I'll always go with good skills.
Okay.
Over good grades.
Alright. Now the next one is savings or enjoyment.
Yeah. Remember what my father said, you don't have money, you don't have power, you don't have sense. Have sense. So if your family have money that you can lavish,
enjoy.
That's on you. But say they do side hustle, you can't carry all your money, go they do dorime. That's on you as well.
The funny thing is that I feel like there's really nothing like saving money. There are only two times.
I think that's a topic we'll have for another day. Because I have a whole lot to say.
Okay. Campus or internship?
Personally, both.
Campus job or internship? No, you have to pick one.
No, scale of preference. Preference to the people. I don't know, it depends. If now someone like me that any small thing I don't breeze in, breeze out, and I feel no take campuses jobs. Because most of my jobs are like mainly on the outskirts entirely from school environment.
Okay.
So
but there are musicians in school now. There are a lot of rappers, singers in school who want to meet beats
but they are on a limited value.
Okay.
If there's an admission of 5,000 students, probably 200 are artists. Compared to the real world where I have a great number of people that I meet on a random day. So I'll prefer outside school campuses.
Okay, very quick. The next question. I have here.
This guy, you want? My man, tell me say you want to set me up.
No, not really. You know, say I don't defy you serious. I know that your music career does not really give you opportunity to be stable and all that. So it's okay. So now, my next question is degree or entrepreneurship?
If you can have both, have both.
No, you have two buttons. You have to pick one.
Why I'm looking at it is there are many roads to the market. Yeah. Most of the times, if you follow the normal road, accident don't happen for front, block road.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So know at least 2 or 3 extra routes that can land you to the market. Not just following depending on that particular road. Anything can happen there. Kidnappers feed it, bandits feed it, and everything. So I used to always go with having both. Both of them give you a great advantage. But if I was to pick, I think I'll go with entrepreneurship.
And we are talking about students improving the student community.
Entrepreneurship.
Okay. Let's say this assignment deadline or client deadline.
Oh boy. That's like devil and the diplomacy. Oh Bobs. God, you really set me up for this one. Is that I will not tell you not to meet assignment deadline. That's like me discouraging students because if I'm to go against all the criteria or structure the school has built, as well as me saying they should never come to school in the first place.
That's true.
That kind of thing. So assignment deadline.
But
I'll wink my eye.
I actually have a lot to say on that one. I'll hold my thoughts.
I'll wink my eye.
I'll hold my thoughts. Okay. Learn a skill or get another certificate.
Depends on what you want, but I'll still stand by learning a skill.
Learning a skill.
Yeah, depending on what you want, but I'll still stand by learning a skill.
And finally, the last one. School first or hustle first? What's it?
The reason why I'm in school is because I want to meet a particular. I have a task I have to meet for me to ascertain a particular certificate.
Okay.
Good. So if I'm in the school environment, then school is always going to be number one. I mean, the reason why I'm sourcing for all these funds is because I should pay for school. But I'll go with school first. But if I'm on the outside world, what do I need school for? But I'm in school, so school first. That's like the reason why I'm here. It's like you going to work and you're asking me between work and church or work and party. If I'm on my off, what's my business with work? You understand? But I'm at my working place, so definitely work is going to be priority.
You know what? That's cool. I feel like you're one of the very few people who are being more again on this podcast. The reason is because I feel like most of the topics I actually get to come up with, they're actually topics that it's not really everybody that can relate with it. Because basically,
So you want to use my relatability now as an advantage.
because the experience will help other people out there to actually
You want to use
grow.
my relatability now as an
You
advantage,
understand?
but it's cool. It's cool.
Thank you very much for coming on this episode.
Mo, it's a pleasure. After how many we are trying to reach me?
Don't be lie, don't be lie, don't be lie.
And the side also make me never reach out since.
You know, thank you very much for those of you watching. You know, this is another episode on the Round Conversation, and we had a very wonderful speaker, Jimmy Trek. He's an artist, he's a
Not
developer.
Jimmy Trek. I see Trek have a poor people.
Okay, Jimmy TRK. You don't like computer. Okay, you know, he's not just an artist. I've listened to some of his music. His songs are premium. Believe me. There are some of his. There's this thing he did. This challenge he did. And he dropped on Instagram. That was a very cool style, freestyling, you understand? So I thank you for watching now. We'll see you on the next episode. Today's on the Round Conversation has been wonderful. And this is the conversation we're going to be having every Friday. Please, if you have any question, do well to send it to us, and we'll have people at your pick and call who will answer all your questions. Thank you very much. I still remain your favorite host, Francis. Thank you.